Hello everyone. Today we are going to continue with our previous topic, which was about the barrier transmission. That is, we learnt about the tunneling effect. So, by the knowledge of our previous class, we are going to derive two coefficients which are very important, that is reflection coefficient and transmission coefficient. So mathematically we are going to derive it, and finally we will conclude with some results and find its significance. So from the previous class we have found out different values of the amplitudes, or the normalization constants also we can say, that is A, B, C as well as D with respect to G. So if you are not gone through the previous class, first go through it and after that only listen to this class, otherwise it will be very difficult to understand. So A is with respect to incident wave, B is with respect to reflected wave, C and D are with respect to the wave which are within the barrier of potential V0, and all these are expressed in terms of the transmitted wave which is with respect to capital G. So I have taken the same equation numbers so that it will be easier to follow. So by using these four equations, we can find out the reflection coefficient as well as transmission coefficient. So incident probability current density is nothing but directly proportional to square of mod of A, because A is the amplitude with respect to the incident wave, which define the incident probability current density, and reflected probability current density is directly proportional to mod B square, whereas the transmission or transmitted probability current density is directly proportional to square of mod G. So based on this knowledge, let us find out what actually is the reflection coefficient. So reflection, it is with respect to the incident wave as well as reflected wave. So when you take the ratio of the amplitudes of reflected wave to that of a incident wave, we can find out the reflection coefficient. So we define R as the ratio of reflected probability current density to the incident probability current density. So using the formula, we can just substitute the value of B and A from our previous equations. So R will be equal to square of mod of B, which is equals to minus I by 2 into G into e raised to ikl into k by beta plus beta by k sine hyperbolic beta L divided by A value, which is square of mod of G e raised to ikl into cos hyperbolic beta L plus I by 2 into beta by k minus k by beta sine hyperbolic beta L. So here we need to solve it again. So G and G exponential of ikl will get cancelled from numerator and denominator, and when you solve it we get I square is minus 1, minus into minus plus, 2 square is 4, so 1 by 4 into k by beta plus beta by k whole square sine hyperbolic square of beta L divided by cos hyperbolic square beta L plus 1 by 4 beta by k minus k by beta whole square into sine hyperbolic beta L, because we know it is of the form x plus iy whole square. So in that case it will be equal to x square plus y square. That is what we have done here. Let us call it as equation number 16. In order to solve it, we need to consider the denominator, so that simplification becomes easier. So in the denominator we have cos hyperbolic square of beta L plus 1 by 4 into the squared term into sine hyperbolic square of beta L. So here cos hyperbolic square beta L can be written as 1 plus sine hyperbolic square beta L, because we know that cos hyperbolic square of x minus sine hyperbolic square of x is equals to 1. So we are using that formula and substituting. So 1 plus, in second and third term we can take sine hyperbolic square beta L common, and when you simplify we get the denominator value is equals to 1 plus 1 by 4 sine hyperbolic square beta L into beta by k plus k by beta whole square. Let us call it as equation star. So now when you just substitute back this value in equation number 16, we get r is equals to the next simplified term. And again we can simplify it, so that let us consider the value of beta by k. So beta, we know that it is square root of 2m into v naught minus e by h cross square, whereas k is square root of 2m e by h cross square. This is already discussed in our previous class while explaining the equation of motion, that is Schrodinger equation. So here 2m by h cross square is going to cancel out, and we get beta by k is equals to square root of v naught minus e by e. And if you take the reciprocal, we get k by beta, which will be equal to square root of e by v naught minus e. Now we just need to substitute, so that we get the value of beta by k plus k by beta whole square. So when you add it, that is beta by k plus k by beta will be equal to root of v naught minus e whole square plus root of e square divided by root e into v naught minus e. So here we have taken LCM, so further simplification becomes easier. So numerator will be v naught minus e plus e. So minus e plus e will get cancelled, and we get this term is equals to v naught by square root of e into v naught minus e. So now we need to just substitute back in our previous equation, so that r, which is reflection coefficient, will be equal to 1 by 4. In place of the squared term we are going to substitute this. So v naught square by e into v naught minus e into sine hyperbolic square of beta L divided by 1 plus 1 by 4 v naught square by e into v naught minus e sine hyperbolic square beta L. So this is the equation which gives us the reflection coefficient, where the energy as well as potential of the barrier terms are involved. Let us call it as equation number 17, so that we can draw further conclusions. Coming to the next step, that is the transmission coefficient. So it is defined as the ratio of transmitted probability current density to the incident probability current density. So now just substituting the value, square of mod g is going to remain as it is, and in place of denominator we are substituting the value of a. Again g is going to cancel out, and we get the similar denominator which we have already solved. And again using the same formula we can just substitute the values, and finally by using previous equation star we get transmission coefficient is equals to 1 divided by 1 plus v naught square sine hyperbolic square beta L divided by 4e into v naught minus e. Let us call it as equation number 18. So r is reflection coefficient and t is transmission coefficient. And when you add these two equations, we observe that numerator and denominator are going to be the same terms, and finally we get R plus T is equals to 1. It is something like a probability. Total probability is equals to 1. Here the sum of reflection coefficient and transmission coefficient will be equal to 1. So if you know any one of these values, if you know the reflection coefficient, you can easily find out transmission coefficient or vice versa. So based on this, we can conclude some results. So first, what happens if energy is equal to 0? In that case, we can observe that T, which is the transmission coefficient defined by equation number 18, we get T is equals to 0 because the denominator term will be equal to infinity, because in the denominator we are having 1 plus V naught square into 2m V naught square sine hyperbolic square beta L divided by 4e into V naught minus e. So if you put e is equals to 0, we get 1 divided by 1 plus infinity, and in that case it will be 1 by infinity, which will be equal to 0. So when energy is equals to 0, T is equals to 0, that is transmission coefficient is equals to 0. That's why from the above equation we can say R is equals to 1. So what is the meaning of it? In that case, when the energy of the particle is equal to 0, tunneling cannot be observed. Means the particle cannot penetrate through the rectangular barrier, and that's why the wave of particles is going to bounce back. That is totally, it is reflected back into the region 1 itself. So this is what happens for zero energy wave. That is obvious. Then coming to the second case, let us say that the energy of the particle lies in between 0 and V naught. V naught is the potential of the rectangular barrier. In that case, if you consider the beta value, beta is nothing but square root of 2m by h cross square into V naught minus e. Here V naught is greater when compared to e, so it will be a positive value, means we can say beta is positive, beta into L. L is nothing but the length of the barrier. When you multiply both of these, it will be very much greater than 1, and in that case sine hyperbolic square of beta L, which will be equal to exponential of beta L minus exponential of minus beta L divided by 2, will be equal to exponential of 2 beta L by 2, and because it is a square of it. See, here in the second term you should remember it is square of this term. It is missing. So beta L is very much greater than 1. So it is going to be neglected, and totally the square term will be something like this. As it is very much greater than 1, the second term is neglected. So only it will be e raised to beta L by 2 whole square. So when you put the value of sine h square beta L in equation number 18, which gives the transmission coefficient, you get T is equals to 1 by 1 plus V naught square exponential of e raised to exponential of 2 beta L by 4, and 4 into e into V naught minus e. So when you simplify it further, we can just write it as 16 e into V naught minus e by V square into exponential of minus 2 beta L, because here beta L is very much greater than 1. So this term is dominant, so 1 is neglected. So finally it is reduced something like this. And from this equation we can say that as energy of the particle is increasing, beta is going to decrease because beta depends on E. If E is going to increase, then beta, which is V naught minus E, V naught is constant, E is increasing, means beta is going to decrease. And exponential of beta L will increase, but exponential of minus 2 beta L, exponential of beta L will decrease, whereas exponential of minus 2 beta L will be increasing. And for that we can say, in this equation, which is T directly proportional to exponential of minus 2 beta L also increases. Means as the energy of the particle is going on increasing, transmission coefficient also increases. Means if energy is large, then there is a probability of finding the particle in region 3. Means tunneling takes place in such case. Even if E is less than V naught, quantum tunneling effect takes place, and finally the particle can penetrate through the barrier and gets transmitted. So probability of finding the particle in region number 3 is more. This is for energy less than V naught. Let us say now energy is equal to V naught, or energy is tending to V naught. In that case, we can say that beta tends to 0, because beta term is directly proportional to V naught minus E. So it will be V naught minus V naught, that's why beta will tend to 0. And in that case, sine hyperbolic beta L, which is defined as exponential of beta L minus exponential of minus beta L by 2, will be equal to 1 plus beta L minus 1 minus of beta L, because beta is tending to 0. So exponential of a very small number we can just write as a same 1 plus the same number. And when you solve it, we get sine hyperbolic beta L is equals to beta L itself. So 1 minus 1 will get cancelled. 2 beta L divided by 2. Finally we are left with beta L. So when you substitute in transmission coefficient equation, that is equation number 18, we can find out T is equals to 1 by 1 plus V naught square beta square L square divided by 4E into V naught minus E. So in place of sine hyperbolic square beta L, we have substituted beta L whole square. Then again another thing is, we know what is the value of beta square. Substituting it, and as we have taken E is equals to V naught, in the denominator we can just put E is equals to V naught, and here V naught minus E will get cancelled, and this E can be written as V naught. Again 1 V naught will get cancelled, and finally we are left with T is equals to 1 by 1 plus m V naught L square by 2 h cross square. So if you observe this denominator term, that is mass into potential into length of the barrier and h cross. When you substitute the values, finally you get a positive value. So transmission coefficient T will be equal to 1 by 1 plus some term. Means 1 by a greater term than 1, we get totally T less than 1. And we know that R plus T is equals to 1, and when T is less than 1, R will be again less than 1 itself. So that when you add up, totally it has to give you unity. So this is about some conclusions regarding transmission coefficient and reflection coefficient, which play a very important role while studying barrier transmission. Coming to the application, this barrier penetration has numerous applications in physics, like the phenomena or explanation for alpha emission of nuclei is based on this mechanism only. Then let us understand using the graphical interpretation. So if you plot a graph of transmission coefficient as well as reflection coefficient as a function of energy, let us divide in some parts, and highest probability or T plus R will be equal to maximum 1. So that is denoted. Then R, which is the reflection coefficient. When energy is equal to 0, the reflection coefficient will be highest, that is 1. Here transmission cannot take place because tunneling is not taking place. But as the energy goes on increasing, reflection coefficient goes on decreasing. And if you plot the graph of transmission coefficient at E is equals to 0, we have 0 transmission, and as the energy is going on increasing, transmission goes on increasing. And here the point or the energy where both T and R are equal, that is 50-50%, it is nothing but V naught, that is when energy is equals to barrier potential. And here this region where reflection coefficient is decreasing, transmission coefficient is increasing, it is for energy less than V naught. And later for energy greater than V naught, easily reflection as well as transmission can take place. But when energy is very much greater than the potential barrier, only transmission will take place, because easily the particles can pass through the barrier because of their higher energy. So there won't be any reflection that is observed in this graph. So this is how we interpret the transmission and reflection coefficients. Then in barrier transmission, again in this way we can denote the wave function, that is when energy is less than the potential barrier, then incident radiation or incident wave, we are having this type of wave function, then tunneling will take place, and finally we get a transmitted wave. The amplitude of transmitted wave will be less because some amount will be reflected back. And if the energy is greater than V naught, then easily the particle can pass through the barrier, so there is no changes in the amplitude of the wave. So this is about the application which is dealing with the quantum mechanical tunneling effect or the barrier transmission, based on which we have seen two types of coefficient, transmission coefficient as well as reflection coefficient, and finally we have seen some of the results out of it. So this is for today's class. If you have any difficulty, you can just comment below. Thank you.